So we want to take a few minutes, and we want to share and invite a few people up on the couch to talk about what God did. So with that, I wanted to invite Shiann. There you are. Shiann, all by yourself up on the couch. That's fine. No, you're fine. You can pick anybody to sit with you. Who would you like to pick with you? Mary. Mary doesn't have to talk. That's the agreement, though. So with what we're about to talk is one of the things we realized that when we were down there, we were talking about how to be for the Dominican and what are some things that we have to be careful of that can actually hold us captive. And when you're traveling, what the hot topic right now is the coronavirus. And so as the youth pastor, I decided to go at a totally different angle. And every day I want to remind our team of different made-up viruses that stop us from being for our community, right? Because we get scared, we hesitate and say, I can't do that. And there's real threats out there, but at the end of the day, sometimes it stops us from making a difference. And so before I let Shiann talk, one of the things we talked about was we have to be careful, if you're ready, for egotistical Alzheimer's. Okay, just letting it sink in, flow through you. Egotistical Alzheimer's is, if you're ready, this is the definition I made up because I made up the word and I'm allowed to do that. It's not being able to remember to put people before yourself. So egotistical Alzheimer's. You're like, that actually should be in the dictionary. Thank you. I know somebody thought it. I just want to say thank you. It should be. If double-double is in the dictionary, so should that one, right? And so one of the things we realized is this, that we have to start putting people first. And we had a team that was amazing because they were constantly putting somebody that they didn't even know ahead of themselves. And so, Shiann, one of the cool things that I love about Servant's Heart is there are kids that we can sponsor. And you've sponsored a kid a few years ago, and last year on your trip, you weren't able to go when we went, and we were able to FaceTime you from home when somebody else was there holding it, and you got to connect with your sponsor child and meet them because they're right there on the ground. But when you went this year, you actually sat down and hung out with your sponsor kid. Can you walk us through that experience?
Yeah, well, this year they decided to do something a little different and also bring in family members of the children that we also sponsored. And so they were a little kind of worried about that, but it ended up being very good because we didn't only get to talk with our child, but we also got to talk with their family. In my instance, it was Udenska's mom, and I got to learn a little bit about her and just their family dynamic, and about Udenska because she was kind of shy. She was only 9 years old, and we had a translator though, so that was really nice. But luckily for me, Udenska's mom was also Haitian, or is Haitian, and so she speaks French. So we had a few people on our team that were from the Bathurst site that are fluent in French. So I brought them. I was like, "Hey, come on and talk to Udenska's mom," and they did. And the translator was like, "I'm done." He was out. He said he was done, but anyway, it was really interesting to just really learn about her and the fact that, like we were saying earlier this morning, that our money doesn't just go to filter into the office, like it's used for these children. And one thing that Udenska's been able to do because of the dynamic that we have in sponsoring her, she's learned to read. And she's really proud of that. You could tell that all over her face, that she was really proud of that fact.
It's amazing. And this is something that maybe you didn't know, is that as we've been sponsoring or partnering with Servant's Heart for the last 4 years, that they do have sponsor kids that we can sponsor right through there. I'm not saying you shouldn't do Compassion or World Vision or something, but the thing that I find is a lot easier and accessible with Servant's Heart is we are sending a group down every year, and we are able to connect with your kid. They are working hard to make sure that your child that you're sponsoring is available and you can have a moment with them or FaceTime with them, and that's just something, that's special. That's just really, really, it puts flesh to that activity. And I appreciate that you doing that. And if you're interested, you're just like, I'm interested in that, then later after the service, feel free to say, hey, I'd love to have some more information on that. Thank you, Shiann, for sharing some of that.
Come with me.
Thank you, Mary, as well. I want to get...